everybody, Nate Albaugh here, high school football coach out of Illinois. I run Trap Life, got my new Trap Life hoodie on and excited to have it on. And I reached out to a friend of mine, Tim Rulo, who's a triple option guy in Missouri. And I said, give me the name of a great wing T guy in Missouri. Who you got? And he said, Matt Webb. So coach, welcome to our mini clinic of the month. You're our mini clinic of the month of June. Welcome. Tell everybody where you coach.
Awesome. We're up in Maryville, Missouri. It's in the northwest corner of the state. Certainly appreciate Tim Rulo saying that. If there's anybody that knows Flexbone Option, I'd say get a hold of Tim Rulo because they do an outstanding job. But we're in northwest Missouri. It's about somewhere between about 2 hours north of Kansas City, kind of up in what we call God's country, where the corn grows really high up in Nottoway County and about halfway between Kansas City and Omaha. We're located in the same hometown that Northwest Missouri State is with the Bearcats. Okay. A lot of people know name recognition there, but our high school mascot is the Spoof Hounds. So it's the only one in the country, very unique. So if anybody asks what a Spoof Hound is, we usually like to tell them it's a state champ is the easiest answer. No, we're a Class 3 program in the state of Missouri, and we've been wing T. We're based out of wing T principles for a lot of years.
Well, and that's one of the things that I always go to. I'm like, how did you, in the briefest ways that you could tell us, what's the briefest summary of how you ended up being a wing T team?
Well, I can say it's as brief as possible. I became the head coach here in 2012, and they were running wing T before I got here. I'm very fortunate to take over a program that has had a great tradition and a lot of winning ways. So the reason we run wing T is quite simple: don't fix what ain't broke type thing. So it was good. We've been good. I'm a defensive head coach at heart. My offensive staff has been wing T well versed at it for years, and so I think I was just kind of smart enough to come in and say, hey, let's not mess this thing up.
And I'm going to turn it over here to you in just a moment. But give everybody an idea of what you'll be chatting about tonight.
We're going to talk about when you think of wing T, I think most. I mean, we do some variations out of some stuff than probably traditional wing T guys would say. Year to year, based on our skill level, talent level, who's back if we're a Class 3 school. So, some years we have quarterbacks that can throw the ball a little bit more. Sometimes our fullbacks are more intricate, and then we would be on more of a trap team, it kind of depends on year to year based on our skill level. But tonight we're going to talk about basically Bucksweep. So, like I said, you got your shirt on. I got our offensive staff a hat this summer.
Excellent.
That simply says "Nuck if you buck." So that's our summer camp theme this year is kind of nuck if you buck with somebody. And so we're going to talk about Bucksweep. I got a few clips of that kind of go through on Huddle. But it's kind of as our wing T base. We're going to run Bucksweep. We're going to run trap a lot and the variations off of it. And then, waggle, the waggle pass. And we mix out of, do the power out of it and the counter crisscross and basically all the wing T stuff. But tonight we're just going to talk about Bucksweep.
Well, Coach, we got a good little wing T community building here. So for the most part, man, you're just preaching to wing T guys. So I'm going to turn it over to you. Feel free to share your screen and take it away.
Okay. And so as we kind of go through this, like I said, this is just a few clips from over the years. I think this is all kind of from one game, a couple of years ago, and really we're just going to kind of go through how we do things, and it's not going to be a lot of variations tonight necessarily, but just kind of our Bucksweep play. So as you can see here. And like I said, look at our film quality on some of these may not be the best, but as you can see here, we're going to get started here. And the biggest thing we talk about is our down blocks on our strong side. We flip our line traditionally. We have a strong side and a quick side. So this would be our strong side line up here on this side, right? And then this would be our quick side down here at the bottom of the screen. So as they do that, as they pull, as our strong side tackle is going to pull down, we got an open face pull by our strong side guard. And then really, you know, as we talk about things, this guard is going to be pulling to the top here, right? As he's pulling out, we kind of pre-snaps peeks and sees, does he have any type of quick leverage threat that he's going to do a quick kick out, which would determine the path of the running back, you know, be more downhill once our H gets the ball here and it'll come back down here. Or is it going to be some type of situation like this where he doesn't have a quick kick out, and then therefore we would, you know, we kind of talk about that being a Lombardi log, where he goes as and logs it and then gets on outside. But that's just kind of a quick pre-snap deal that I know our guys focus on, and all those things that we get going with. So we got a good down block here by our offensive tackle, displaces the 3 technique up top. That really gets things going. Our Z up top has a down block again on the defensive end. What happens is our first guard gets through. Our second guard, as he's coming around, really gets his shoulders downhill. I think that's something that we really talk about a lot when you think about our sweep, and the way we want to get things is our running back does a good job of having patience with it. So as the H is coming around here, you know, it's gonna be a downhill play. So eventually we want that path to be downhill like this, right? And if even better, we kind of talk about a couple things like this is the highway, right? This is the highway we want our H to take, right? Anything out here, right, that gets drawn out or strung out, that's a gravel road, right? You're not getting vertical as fast. That's the gravel road. And then the best ones that, you know, are over the years, and as we get things blocked, once he gets downhill, if he can go ahead and get that thing almost like a backside cut, that's like the interstate. You know, that's where the money is. That's where the home runs hit. So if anything, we want to be on the highway or the interstate, certainly not the gravel road. And that's just, again, some things that we've done, as you can see on this play. Just one example here, you get a good down. First guard gets around, second guard gets around. Running back has great patience, right, to see that guard there and then make one cut and go. Our backside tackle, our quick tackle, right, is always in charge of this safety, right? So that quick tackle for us has been a guy on our base play here where he's going to be sprinting to that backside safety and picking up the first thing he can get, all right? So as you can see here, we don't like him necessarily turning back, all right? 51, see right there. We don't necessarily need him to turn back on it because the other guard ends up getting that safety. So if he went ahead and got down here and got that extra player, you know, we want to get that extra block to get that guy sprung down the field. You have to excuse my voice tonight. Like I said, we're at the beginning of our summer, so we've had 3 practices and a couple of camps here over the weekend, and my voice is gone just because it's a happy gone because all those encouraging words I've been screaming out to everybody these first couple of practices. And then, but on this next example, again, here we're running 29. So as you can see on this one, both guards, again, get out really well. And what happens is 76 is going to be pulling up top. That's going to be our strong guard. As he's pulling to the outside, he's getting, you know, basically the edge player is going to be identified as his corner that's getting set. Okay. So as he gets that kick out, 76, you can see 52 coming through. It's the same 2 guards, all right, strong guard, quick guard. But as he gets the kick out there, right there, 52's already got his shoulders downhill, all right, different running back here, all right, different running backs he does a good job of having patience going lateral here to get the flow going, and then he's going to be able to get back vertical downhill on him, okay? And then the thing that I think we talk about a lot is these running backs having some patience with it, okay? You can see 12 here, sets it up real good, and then right there, now he's going to accelerate and go through. So once he gets downhill, that's when the acceleration happens, but he's not going to hit it, all right? Initially, you want to do a good job of having patience, letting your guards get around, then accelerating through, okay? Everything on the tight end side here does a good job of going down with stuff. We got the mic blocked, all right? Again, we've got guys backside doing a good job. So these are examples of 29 sweep. film may be loading a little slow tonight, but I think we're doing pretty good so far. Okay, so here's an example of running our 28 sweep, so which would be to our offensive right. Defensive or on the strong tackle here, we've got a good job of, you know, when we're playing somebody, this defensive end does a really good job of kind of squeezing, all right, so he's going to shoot his hands and kind of not go up field and allow the kick out block to happen. So he squeezes, so Z's blocking down, but that offensive tackle right here does a good job of ripping through with his right arm. Again, if you talk veer offense, you know, and outside veer, and like I said, Tim Rulo, some of those veer option plays, it's a really similar block, right? But he does a good job of ripping off that defensive end and getting there. Again, Z, this is what we kind of call our short side sweeps. Our tight end is away from it, but it's now to just our guard tackle side, and then our Z is going to block down, and we've got basically our H, right, has come over, right? So we're going to do it's a short side sweep. This is a variation where we're going to toss it basically to our fullback, right, and have an extra over. We go our H over, so we got an extra guy over there for any type of overload they were to get to our strong side to take away sweep. So really, on this example here, you've got strong tackle blocking down, center blocking back, our strong guard, right? He's going to wrap around, all right, to this direction, right? Our quick guard, all right, he's going to wrap around again in this situation, all right? And then we also got our H, all right, being a lead blocker to this side, all right? And then basically running a quick toss to our fullback, okay? Z blocks down, all right, from this angle here, all right, and then our strong tackle blocks down. So our strong guard's pulling, our quick guard's pulling, we got our H over, all right? So our H is to our strong side, and he becomes that extra puller in this situation. It's a good way for us to get a variation, get the ball in our fullback again. This variation I like, again, it's a quick toss so that fullback can see and get downhill, get vertical with things again. So as you can see, we kind of talk about riding the convoy out here, and got a super set of pullers in our offense. Like I said, we do a good job of really emphasizing blocking downfield. Sometimes it's not the cool thing nowadays, or it's not sexy to see receivers, blocking downfield, but we really put an emphasis on it. This player right here does a good job of blocking downfield. We make a big deal about that, and the blocks like that is what kind of spring this guy, for a long run, getting downfield, making a touchdown here, basically by the block on the receiver, and then again a lineman downfield. We got our strong guard all the way sprinting into the end zone. Here comes our quick guard. All right, again our receiver is making the key pancake block to get him a touchdown, but a good job of our kids blocking downfield and those perimeter blocks. Another good example here of, as you can see, 52. I want to talk about our quick guard. All right. Anytime we're in our offense, in our wing T, like I said, when we talk about kind of the technique behind some of the blocks, you can kind of see his right foot. I wish our end zone camera wasn't working this game, but this quick guard is going to be pulling to his left. Okay. So you can see here his right foot. We teach a skip pull on this backside. So his right foot's going to actually, his backside foot is going to actually lead this and he wants to keep his shoulders square, so he can see who he's wrapping to. To our strong side, on our strong side, that guard, when he's pulling, we go ahead and open face pull there. All right, so he can get there quicker, and he's going to primarily be a kick out. He's not going to wrap unless we do that Lombardi log thing like we talked about. So you kind of see an example here of 52 where that quick step with his right foot kind of keeps his shoulders a little square and allows him to insert a little bit quicker, all right, downfield on that stuff. What happens is, as we talk about it, you got to do a good job of getting your shoulders square so that you can, again, when a linebacker's pulling, a safety's filling in that gap up top, all right, that he can see it and then he doesn't get spilled by what a defense is doing. About the center. The center here does a good job now on some of these guys when we're seeing different fronts. This is more of like a 50 look. When we get into our 100, 200, formations, you can see where we got guys loading the box really good. You got 5 D linemen, 2 linebackers, a corner, the safety screw down. So our center does a really good job here of having a shade technique to his left, all right? So play side. He does a really good job of getting a good zone step. He's going to on reach that, all right? And it allows us to go ahead and down block on the 3 technique up top, all right, with our strong tackle up there on this side. And then it allows us to go ahead and get around. And then again, good patience by this running back, number 21, getting vertical, all right, and having some patience, okay? One example, here's a good example of 51, all right? 51 is our quick tackle. And like I said, this is a play that, is one of our base plays that our kids here kind of learn growing up, learn this play growing up through middle school and through our lower levels. But again, this quick tackle, all right, he's going to sprint to hit on this backside safety, all right? And just the effort that he's making here, it may not be there if somebody else picks him up, but watch 51 here as far as getting downfield, right? And really getting downfield and searching for work, all right? What happens is, again, he ends up, getting a good downfield, doesn't block anybody, but, if a running back doesn't get caught there from a good angle, 51 is going to be downfield to really seal that, make a long run into springing into a touchdown. We'll go one more here just before we take some questions and kind of talk through some things. But here's an example again, all right, to where we've got our fullback here, our H-back, our Z, our tight end, all right, and we're down on the goal line, right? And we don't change much on the goal line, except the expectation is knowing that a lot of times maybe a defense is going to change their look to a 6-man front, something a little bit more vertical, load the box a little bit more. But again, one showing a great example here at 52, all right, our quick guard, all right, as he's pulling through, you can see his right foot step back, all right, and that helps him keep shoulders square so that he can insert, all right, so he can insert downhill right there, all right, get vertical, and then that helps again for the H to be able to do a good job of patience, all right, and obviously you can see the kick out here by our strong guard. As he pulls out, all right, this corner is going to come up, and by this point in the game, we ran this play enough, and as you can see, the corner here, he doesn't really want to be able to take on guards. That's the thing about offensive football nowadays is you get matchups against corners and stuff like that. They're used to playing 7-on-7, skelly stuff like that. All of a sudden, you got a guard out on you that's kind of got a mean sense to him, and this kick out, right? He ends up getting blown up and kind of put out on his numbers here. Great hit by our strong guard 76, but that seam that he opens up, right, on the strong guard kicking out, right, and then 52, all right, doing a good job on his pull technique, all right, getting back up vertical and inserting allows 21 or H to really have patience and then get vertical and put the ball in the zone here. So again, this is kind of an idyllic hit if you're that strong guard pulling, the corner's sitting there, sees you coming, he's like, oh crap, here we go. I got to take this on and then kind of go from there. So that's basically a few clips on our Bucksweep tonight. What questions do you got or things that, again, like I said, that, might kind of just jump off the ball? I know it's just a few plays, but wanted to, kind of just go through Bucksweep tonight.
All right, Coach, thanks so much for that. I just finally got my camera up here with alongside of you. All right, so I've got my list of questions right now, and my questions might jump all over the place because I was just kind of writing as soon as they came up. So no promises they're going to go in a logical order. Let me start with this question. No, so I talked to a lot of wing T guys, and I see it happen a lot where a team is a wing T team and they've kind of leaned away from Bucksweep. And I ask those guys a lot, hey, why are you leaning away from Bucksweep? And I've gotten a variety of answers, whether it's we fear that front side A gap run through, so we wanted to stop pulling the front side guard, to it's just so expensive. We feel like we're getting the same thing out of power. So I've heard different answers. I've always wanted to stick with it personally. I just wanted to hear from your point of view. What is it for you guys that says, no, like this is essential to us? And here's why.
Yeah, well, I think what Buck does for us is, and the reason we start off with day one installs with Bucksweep is it sets up everything else that we're going to do. When you look at as a head coach, I look at it, and like I mentioned, my background's on defense, but I look at it and I talk to our offensive guys and I say, okay, how is somebody going to defend you? Well, if you start with your base principles and then you work off of it, buck is where ours start. It's a strong side play for us. It's an identity maker for us. And then what I think makes our entire offense, like I said, if we were to spend 3 hours dissecting our offense, I think you would see as a defensive coach, the defensive ends in our offense and our wing T offense are put in a bind. All right. Mm-hmm. You either are going to go spill it. You're either going to box some plays. You're going to have power coming at you. You're going to have down. But it all starts with buck, and how our defensive ends are going to play. If you slow down the defensive ends, all right, from crashing and spilling with buck, all right, then that just situates our trap play inside. Next thing you know, our waggle is coming out, a simple pass, our fullback to the flat. It's just a good starting point for us because what it does is it sets up the rest of our offense. And again, I'd be amiss to say, if you say you're a wing T offense, I think you got to have Bucksweep in there. We talk about, instead of RPOs, we're going to run RBOs around here. We're going to run buck often type of stuff. And we got some stuff that we spread it out sometimes. Some years, like I said, if we don't maybe have a tight end that's a great down blocker, or again with our personnel, we can run some stuff out of some 20 looks or the Bucksweep that Gus Malzahn's doing and more of a spread look. But the principles are the same, where we're going to go man blocking, down block, and work the guard pulls and the buck principles.
Well, that leads me right into my next question. You may have kind of already answered it, but it is a question that I hear a lot, that I hear a lot of the guys that hang out with us ask, and that's, are you starting the game off as you are? Let's talk play calling for a moment. Are we starting the game off like a lot of buck because that's going to set everything up? Or are we starting off with something else to set up buck?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. We want to be. Matt Houchin is our offensive coordinator, and Matt does a great job. I mean, and like I said, as a head coach, one of the things I love is being able to watch our offensive staff work. They do a great job of developing game plans, evaluating who we're playing, setting up, like you said, our plays on how he's going to call them. If Matt were here tonight, I guarantee he would say he doesn't go into a game with a script, but he has a great feel for it once he sees how things are going. We want to bring the tempo to the defense. We don't huddle. So we are kind of up on the line quick. We signal stuff in quick, and our kids operate at a fast pace. But really, it's kind of like a game of poker, where you're going to set something up, knowing that you've got a card later to play. And then he wants to be able to hit guys inside, outside, strong side, quick side, make them see it all. We don't like to be able to go into the phase of saying we're going to save something to the second half. We want to keep that identity down and keep the identity of being downhill, hitting them. You hit buck on one play, next play you come right back with trap. So you're outside, then you're inside, right? Then you come back with belly to maybe a variation off belly. So within the first half, they may see buck 2 different directions, trap 2 or 3 different ways, belly, sweep, power, different plays that they're going to hit the full accordion phase of the wing T offense. So I know he does a good job just having a great feel, and I don't think he necessarily saves one for another.
The next one here on my list that I jotted down real quick, I heard you refer a couple times to an open face pull. Can you just tell me? I'll just want to ask, okay, what are you talking about there?
Sure. The open face pull is what we call it, to where it's the first guard to his side. All right. So that guard is good. Both guards are pulling, but the open face pull is the first one that's pulling down the line of scrimmage, and that's usually our strong guard. All right. Now we can run it both directions, but it's most predominantly our strong guard in the way we're talking about, and that means he's going to be pulling flatter. As the tackle's down blocking, he's going to be pulling flatter right off his butt, and he's going to be the one that's usually the kick out. So he's going to open up with his outside foot, all right, his open foot, and then kind of open face. He's going to open his face and he's going to be doing the kick out block. When we call our skip pull, that's the difference between the two. It's just a way to differentiate between the two. Our skip pull is that backside guard. He can keep that technique on other plays in our offense. Yeah. Again, most guys run it with power and stuff, but that skip pull, his shoulders are going to be more square to line scrimmage and leading with his backside foot instead of his front side foot does on the open face.
Okay. Now, the film was a little choppy. It always comes through choppy on Zoom. Yeah. But I couldn't tell if was I seeing a table stop handoff on that Bucksweep, or was I not?
Yeah, it is. That table stop, like I said, the handoff is a table stop. And that sets up, again, we talked to our quarterbacks about, culture and everything that he does that they do for it. That's his 111th, and doing his 111th in Bucksweep is to be able to hold that backside linebacker, get better angles on stuff with the tabletop, handoff, because what that does, again, that sets up our waggle play and where the guards are actually pulling the other way. And it makes it all look the same, and that's what you want to be able to say. Again, what does the wing T offense do? Well, for us, it puts a bind on the defensive ends on what are you going to do? How are you going to box things? You're going to spill things. How are you going to play the edge? And then on linebackers, on your guard reads, you got to be really disciplined to be able to play the guard reads. And the tabletop is a great way of holding a backside linebacker. And then that sets up waggle. So just the idea of one play setting up another, and our quarterback, he has a job every time on sweep to set up the next play. He wants to run waggle. We tell him if you're not running the handoff right, we're not going to throw the ball. We'll just keep handing off buck and trap, and you can go out there and hand the ball off, but if you want to be able to throw it, make sure you're doing your part in setting it up.
Yeah. Okay. So it sounds like you guys call it the tabletop handoff.
Yeah.
Is that what you guys call it?
Yeah. That's what we call it. Yeah.
Could you explain to the guys what that is? Because I've run into a lot of wing T guys that are like, wow, we do not use that. Or even I still remember I was running the offense for 5 years before I ever had even seen it. So I didn't know if you could explain to the guys how you guys teach it.
Yeah. It'd be, like I said, if anybody wants video, and I know it's choppy, but when you think about it, I'm happy to share it or talk about it if anybody sees this and wants to reach out. I'll say that in the end too. But basically, as the quarterback opens up, he's going to turn his back, right, to the defense, all right. And again, it's just kind of route, memory on left or right. But his first step wants to be a good 90 degrees. Go ahead and make sure he spins all the way around. And then he's going to go back, straight back, and let the running back come to him. And then literally he's going to kind of hold the ball on the end of it. So that you're going to basically set the ball on top of an imaginary table where the fullback originally lined up. All right. And what that means is he's just going to hold the ball kind of at the end, not your traditional put the ball in the running back's basket and him closing over the top. And what happens is it allows the running back that's getting the ball on the sweep to see the ball. He comes, all right, and then he's going to take the ball and then tuck it that off the tabletop. It's something, again, like my background is I coached college football for basically 15 years or 13 years before I came to high school, and the ball security on wing T, a couple things, when we talk later on sometime about our crisscross plays or double handoffs and things like that, it kind of goes against traditional football minds as far as ball security. You're like, you're putting that thing, you're just holding it out in the air. And our offensive guys told me, they're like, yeah, it works, coach, it works. And I'm like, what do you mean you double handoff? We're running the risk of fumbling it twice. Is kind of against my nature. But the way they practice it and the way our kids grow up with it, we very rarely fumble an exchange there, just because I think our kids, again, grow up with it in middle school and they know how to work it. But yeah, that's that tabletop handoff, they call it.
Okay. All right, I got 4 left. I'm gonna try to. I'll go as fast as I can, but take your time. Sure. Do you give your QB any freedom? This is like a personal question for me. I've never given my QB any freedom. A couple of my buddies give me a hard time about it, and I hope to be able to call an offense again one day. And I just wonder, like, it's an area I'm trying to get better. Does your QB have any freedom as far as whether it comes down to, shoot, that corner is 10 yards off of our wide receiver, or even, oh my goodness, we've got Bucksweep called and they are completely overplaying it? Have you ever given him any freedom?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things that, like I said, with our entire offense, that is a huge benefit is we have a quarterback that, as he, we've had quarterbacks here that have been 3-year starters, started as a sophomore. So sophomore year, maybe not as much. He's learned, he's still young. And then as he gets into his junior and senior year, he can make, more basically adjustments and line of scrimmage calls for us. Or we've had guys that have been 2-year starters in that second year, or for example, our quarterback that we have right now. I mean, last year we were fortunate enough and through a COVID year to play 15 games and get all the way to state championship, and we lost in state championship. But that quarterback last year was a junior. He's a senior for us now. Our starter got hurt week 1, so he wasn't really going into the year thinking he's going to be the guy. But he did an excellent job of leading us to play for a state championship. And one of the things he does best is he loves, checking run game. And we'll have something called, and he looks up and he'll simply Omaha it, or opposite calls, or, basically a line check for us, to where he loves, scouting and looking and seeing, hey, we got trap called one direction, defense gives you one look, we'll give you, what's the best way for us to run trap or sweep or different RPO stuff we do. So yeah, we love giving them freedom kind of as much as they can handle. As much as, we'll kind of not force feed it, but lead it along. And the more comfortable they get and the more they enjoy it, gets us in better situations.
Okay. Next question. I saw that toss sweep that, you're just running it, blocking it the same as Bucksweep, but you're flipping it to that fullback. Can you give me a reason? Is there a win and a why to that? Like, we need that helps us do blank, or we like that when we see blank, or is it just we like to mix it in there?
Yeah, no, I think what I mentioned with that is it gives us a variation out of formation and backfield set. So again, if you're looking at scouting us and you put games together, you can we don't have a lot of formations. We're going to have our 100 set and our 200 set. We can X over, make something unbalanced to get a different, safety look going from a 2 high to a 1 high. But what the variations in our backfield allow us to do is to get other people the ball running the same play. So the fullback traditionally, like I said, in our wing T stuff, he's going to run trap. He's going to run belly. And there's not a lot of variation on plays to get your fullback the ball. What that does is gets us an extra play for our fullback. And then what it does is it keeps our H over there to the side that we're pulling to and gives us that, like I said, that extra blocker. So he's going to now be, instead of faking the backside of, our fullback fakes backside and then, inserts inside for the nose guard or the D tackle. What that allows us to do is get an extra guy on a perimeter for it. And again, like I said, I know Coach Houchin likes doing that just because it's another perimeter play for our fullback, but it also gives us an extra blocker.
Okay, Coach, 2 questions to go. This question is, again, kind of a personal question, things that I like to pick guys' brains about. I think you had mentioned that you guys will also run power. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So what I was wondering
Yes.
is, because I've gone back and forth in my career going, is power worth the install? Is it not worth the install? Is it really just achieving the same thing as Bucksweep? Why carry power? What are you getting out of it that you don't get out of Bucksweep?
Well, what we get out of power is more of again, there's 2 different ways that in my mind as a defensive coach that I think of power. Is it an off tackle play or is it an A gap power? And what we run, with our offense is more of an off tackle play. So we would consider that more of a perimeter, off tackle play for us. And what it does is it keeps our angle more to 45. Our power play is not going to hit A gap to backside. It's going to hit, basically C gap to outside. And what it does is it gives our fullback being the kick out, but it's the exact same footwork, exact same thing for our wrapping guard, to where, like I said, he's going to be able to skip pull, same technique. But what it also does is allow us to get a good double team on the 3 technique. So again, if we're playing somebody where it's a year that maybe our strong tackle can't handle that 3 technique and we can't get push and sweep on his own, then we'll keep the guard there, go ahead and run power. Now your fullback's your kick out and your wrapper is the same. You basically get the same action, but again, it allows us to be able to scout people and our offensive guys. Again, if you're playing a war daddy, a three technique, or somebody you're having a hard time getting push, you can always run power with it.
I like that. Okay, I'm glad I asked that. All right, Coach, last question of the night. Just curious as to who are some of your main resources in the wing T world? Like, who are some guys you've learned from, whether recently or when you were first getting into it? Like, who are some of your go-tos?
Yeah. Well, I'd be amiss to not mention the head coach that I took over for here is Chris Holt. Chris Holt in Missouri, just finished up over at Lathrop and has done a great job and really did a great job. Like I said, brought wing T principles and everything here to Maryville before I came. But I think more than anything, I think I do a good job of or try to, at least every year, is finding guys that may have the same principles as us, but it may not be a wing T play. So, for example, AJ Blazek, the offensive line coach now at Vanderbilt, was at North Dakota State. College coaches that we can go to and see how are they running. Like I said, how are they running A-gap power? How are they teaching a skip pull at the college level, and then fitting that into our base wing T principles? Those are the things that I think our schemes are gonna stay the same. But how we teach them each year is we want to be on the cutting edge and find out how guys are, aiming points, footwork, pre-snap stuff, how they identify who the mic is, finding different tempos that we're running with. And then I think we do a good job of looking and seeing, again, at the college level and seeing where does like I mentioned, Gus Malzahn and what they were doing with, more of a spread Bucksweep stuff. How can we, have variations within our formations to still run the same plays. Kids can still learn the same techniques, but give the defense a different look and getting it the best for us.
Well, Coach, thanks so much for joining us, man. And you had said, again, if anybody were to want to be able to get a hold of you to maybe get their hands on those sweep clips, what would be the best way for these guys to look you up?
Yeah, the Twitter nowadays is the best way to kind of direct message me or something, and we can hook up. My Twitter handle is @SpoofHoundFB1, and then my cell phone. You can call my cell phone anytime you want. Don't mind giving out. It's Matt Webb, MattWebb, 660-254-9466. Or certainly, shoot me an email. My email is my school email. It's webbm@maryvillr2.com.
Spoofhound, that's just SPOOF? Is that right?
SPOOFHOUND.
Okay,
Spoofhound, you got it right.
Spoofhound FB1. Awesome. Well, Coach, thanks so much for joining us. It really was a pleasure, man. Great for me to be able to pick your brain. Hey, any closing thoughts before we let you go?
No, I just think things like this are awesome in today's day and age. I think it's awesome that we're able to, as a coaching community, to share and feel like nobody has any secrets anymore. The stuff we do, there's like a wing T cult around the country. It's like you talk Bucksweep, and everybody has their way of running it. But the way we do it may be a little bit different. Somebody else, and we pick brains from other people. Like I said, I think the coaching community is awesome. I just would encourage everybody to realize the pulpits we have every day with young people's lives in the coaching community, and the difference we're all making. That's the reason I coach. I've done it for 23 years, and when you think about the impact of lives that we're making each day, makes it worth it. So certainly encourage all you guys to focus on the culture stuff, focus on the character education. And anytime we get a chance to do this X and O stuff is great, but the changing kids' lives is what we're all about here. So certainly thank you for having me, and always helpful to anybody who wants to reach out.
Thanks, Coach. Make sure you stick around for a moment. As soon as I sign us off, got a couple logistics to take care of. But all you men, thanks so much for checking us out. Make sure you follow us on Twitter if you don't already. That's @TrapLifeFB. We'll see you guys next time.